Hey everyone, welcome to the RotoGrinders Morning Grind Podcast. I'm your host, Stevietpfl. It's Wednesday, it's August 19th, it's 2020, and we have 11 baseball games to talk about here on today's slate. I'm joined by my good buddy, the ChiefJustice06. Will, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, man. Excited to be here. Definitely ready to break down some MLB. Got a pretty good slate today, I think. I mean, I feel like we've got pitching, we've got hitting. Can't ask for much more than that in this, weird time that we're in with baseball, with games being canceled and series being canceled. So I'm actually just excited every day I wake up and MLB hasn't canceled the season. So I don't think they will, and I'm just happy it's still rolling, man. So let's break this thing down.
I feel like teams are doing a lot better job. I feel like I said this on a Grinders live show. I almost feel like the Marlins and Cardinals situation had to happen. Like, I'm glad everybody's recovering good and like everything's going well as far as recovery, but like I feel like teams needed to like have a wake up call, and like that was the wake up call. So I feel like teams are doing much better. And like again, I don't want anybody to get COVID. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying like, I could go on like a 10-minute Fernando Tatis Jr. rant right now too. I feel like it's ridiculous. If you don't want someone to hit a home run against you, don't throw them a fastball down the middle. Like,
don't throw them a meatball.
If you don't want somebody to steal a base on you, don't be down 6-0 and not watch the guy when he's leading off. Like get over this. Like I played baseball for 20 years, and like if I didn't want someone to hit a home run, I either walked them or I threw them junk. I didn't throw them a fastball down the middle.
Yeah, bury it with a sinker or something. Like, what are we doing?
He's one of the hottest hitters in baseball. Why are you throwing a fastball down the middle? Like, I don't care if it's 3-0, bases are loaded, and you're getting smashed. Don't throw a fastball down the middle. Like, oh, man. Like, yeah. Like, I don't know. Nothing more fun than unwritten baseball rules. Like, I'm someone that like I don't mind like throwing behind somebody to send a message, but like I'm not for hitting somebody in the head or anything like that. You hear some of these people on Twitter and announcers and stuff, and it's like these guys. This is a livelihood. What if he takes a ball to the temple and never bounces back? Like, this is one of the best hitters in baseball. Young hitters.
I get it, man. And I think, especially when you've got, maybe you're trying to attract the younger population back in. Look, I didn't play baseball as long as you, obviously, but I played a little bit in high school. And, I was sliding the second, and sprained my knee really bad. And so I probably told this story before. And my basketball coach said, hey, by the way, no more baseball for you. We need you for basketball. But, it was a fun sport, man. And, it's one of those sports you grow up playing. You start playing T-ball. You play a little bit of travel ball, and I just think it's fun when you let it be fun. When we have all the unwritten rule stuff, it zaps the fun out of the game.
Listen, he's a young kid. Like, he saw a fastball come right down the middle, and he smashed it. Like, good for him. The worst thing that he did was apologize. Like, that, don't apologize. You no. So. Anyway, let's talk some baseball. But before we do, we're going to talk some best ball. Underdog Fantasy Sports from the minds behind the Draft app. NFL Best Ball is a fun set-it-and-forget-it format. They have an app for iOS and Android. Best ball leagues from $3 to $100, including their signature Best Ball Mania tournament. $25 entry, $1 million prize pool with $200,000 to the winner. Don't want to pay for $25. You can play for the $5 bubble tournament, a little bit, smaller tournament for people that don't want to spend the big bankroll and have it locked up. But be on the lookout for live shows on RotoGrinders, draft shows. We're having a ton of fun with them. Check them out, underdogfantasy.com, or download the app today and start your NFL drafting. Let's get into it, Will. We got 11 games. We have a lot to talk about on this slate. You already kind of mentioned it. Pitching is definitely interesting on this slate, and we get started here with the Indians and the Pirates. Aaron Civil against Steven Brault. Any interest here in Civil?
Slightly. He's not at the top of my list today. I mean, I think I'd just be playing him because the Pirates are god-awful this year, man. You look at these K rates, and I'm already kind of transitioning into exclusive 2020 numbers right now. I was really surprised to see Josh Bell at 33% K rate. Not typical for him. I do think that will come down. Colin Moran, Reynolds, Polanco. I mean, man, the heart of this order is really, really beefed up with strikeouts at the moment. So, I don't mind Silva. I think he's SP2 for me today. Don't think he'll make SP1 at all. If you're on FanDuel, I mean, he's the fourth highest priced pitcher, and I don't feel as good about him as I do about Lance Lynn, even though he's going against the Red Hot Padres. So he's just kind of a tier below for me, even with this good matchup, just because of the price.
So I like him a lot. You talk about like 2020 numbers. The Pirates are last in ISO, WOBA, and WRC plus against right-handed pitching. Same reason I was on Carrasco yesterday. Didn't work out. That's fine. Going back to the well here. Nobody in this offense scares me. And this kid's pitched well so far ever since getting called up last year. So really like him in this spot. And, like, he has some reverse strikeout upside too. Like, he uses a cutter and a sinker against lefties, and he's able to actually strike out lefties more than righties, and they're going to throw a lot of lefties at him here. So really like this spot for him. I don't know if he's like top overall option, but he's definitely up there on this slate. Steven Brault on the other side of this game, like the Indians have struggled this season big time, but they're still a very talented offense, and he's not a big strikeout guy. They're going to throw 9 righties at him, and when we look at his numbers, Will, like big-time splits, lefty-righty, I have no interest in Steven Brault here.
Yeah, none for me either, especially with, Cleveland's been bad, but I think they're maybe starting to turn the corner a little bit. That's going to be a hard no on Brault.
Yeah, and like we don't expect him to go too deep either. Like he really hasn't thrown a lot of innings this season, so like we'll have to like really dig into. I think it'd be Chad Kuhl that comes in behind him, and like it's just not a good mix. Let's talk Cleveland bats. They have been a cold offense. Steven Brault, nothing overpowering. Chad Kuhl really struggles with lefties, and like a lot of these guys are switch hitters. What's your thoughts here when it comes to Cleveland?
Yeah, I think Cleveland's going to be fine here. I still like my one particular really basic stat, which is, runs per game, and I can sort it by 2020, last 3, last 1, home and away. Cleveland is averaging 7 runs the last 3 games, scored 8 runs in their most recent game, which means, they really could be turning it around here. So I'm actually okay playing some Cleveland bats. Franmil Reyes hit 2 bombs. Lindor starting to wake up at the plate a little bit. So, I don't mind these guys at all. Against Cooler, Brault's not going to bother me one bit. Obviously, we know that, Pittsburgh is going to diminish a little bit of the power. But, most of the lineup right now is a hitter for power outside of, this group of 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm more than happy to play the Cleveland offense on this slate.
Any interest in the Pirates here?
0.
Yeah, like you could play Josh Bell as a one-off if you want to. I'm not going to. I'm going to move on to the Yankees and Rays. Tyler Glasnow, Garrett Cole. Talk to me a little bit here about Glasnow.
Well, I mean, the thing about Glasnow is I really wish the pitching count was a lot further along. Like if you told me I get 90 pitches out of Glasnow, I think I'd be okay. He has gotten touched up here the past 2 games, and I was trying to see if maybe it changed something in his pitching or, just to kind of see what's going on, but nothing's really changed. Still sitting on primarily fastball. So, and the velocity's there, maybe he's just been missing some spots. So if the pitch count was up, I'd feel much better about it, but I just don't think I can play him, when he's not as expensive as he was, but I still like these other guys better around him that are going to have much higher pitch counts. Like Lance Lynn is a touch above him. No way I'd play him over Lance Lynn on the slate. So that's kind of where I'm at with Tyler Glasnow.
Yeah, like this offense is nothing compared to what it typically is with 3 of their best hitters out of the lineup. The upside's there. Like I think upside at ownership, is definitely worth considering him at 8,800. I worry about like is he going to throw over 90 pitches? Probably not.
Yeah.
Like they're kids' gloves when it comes to the pitchers down in Tampa, but they're winning, so it's tough to really argue with what they're doing. I think he's worth a look in large field tournaments. but I feel like there's a bunch of options that are better plays than him today. We go to the other side. We got Garrett Cole. The Rays offense has been really good this season. One of the reasons that they're winning, they're top 10 in a lot of offensive categories against right-handed pitching, but it is Garrett Cole. What are your thoughts on Cole?
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime Garrett Cole is out there, he's in play, and I really don't care which offense it is, especially, Steven, this is something I'm going to make really quick. In a shortened season, if he can get to the playoffs for him is going to be almost like the back half of the season this year. So, or really more so the middle of the season or the first third of the season, should I say. So I really like Garrett Cole and these high K pitchers. I think we're going to really see better even pitching in the playoffs. Garrett Cole, one of the top options on the slate. I've got him ranked number 3 on my list right now, but that doesn't mean I won't have plenty of exposure. Love Garrett Cole in this spot.
Yeah, obviously, when we're looking at top end arms, it's Degrom against Miami or Cole against Tampa. Cole is going to be lower owned. Degrom's the better option on paper. So there's always that. And Cole's strikeout rate has gone down a little bit this season. But I'm not concerned whatsoever. He just struck out 10 against this team the last time they played. He's a top option. He's not my favorite. I like Degrom more. I'm okay with saying I'm easily going to take Degrom over Cole going against Miami in Miami. So,
yeah.
Listen, bats in this game, this is a full pass for me. 2 really good arms, good bullpens. This is just a stay away bats wise for me. You play one-offs if you want, but full stay away for me.
Yeah, for sure, and that's pretty much where I am. And honestly, I don't even know if I'm going to take a one-off. I think I'd rather get my exposure from a one-off from Cleveland or something like that. So I'm with you, man. Full stay away. I will say this, Aaron Hicks, 22% walk rate. That's something that stood out. I'm not playing him, but that is something that stood out. Just keep that one in your pocket. That may come in handy, when we get a guy that's walking a bunch of guys.
Moving on, we got Washington at Atlanta. Kyle Wright and Eric Fed. Listen, you're not playing either one of these pitchers. Will, I'm going to answer for you. You're going to give me big fat no's. This is going to be one of the highest scoring games not in cores on this slate.
For sure. Thank you for wrapping that up. We can just go ahead and head to the bats right now.
All of them.
Yes.
Every single one of them. Outside of – all right, Turner's 4,900, Freeman's 53, and Juan Soto, who's one of the best hitters in baseball right now, is 5,700. Will, you can easily stack this whole game and get top-end pitching because there's so many cheap bats. Adams, Duvall, Thames. I'm grouping them together because it doesn't matter which side, which team, and which jersey they wear. Everybody's scoring runs and hitting the ball today.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like you said, man, I'm looking at it. Adams – so first off, Travis d'Arnaud, why is he continuing to be so cheap? The guy's pretty much raking every day. Camargo, maybe we get a little sprinkle of Austin Riley. I'm more than willing to play Juan Soto. This guy's been fantastic at the plate. I mean, if you look at his last, 7, 8 games, I mean, he's just raking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that doesn't even include today. I mean, Juan Soto, man, just outstanding baseball right now. And I'm with you, Stevie. I think we just stack this game up. I don't even have to get through all the particulars. I mean, just bats galore.
Play anybody you want.
Yes.
You can play Robles batting 9th or Kaboom batting 8th. Play them all.
And that's the play, actually, because we already know the bottom of the order. Even guys in the 6 hole don't get as much ownership as the top 4. So, I mean, this is just a perfect world scenario to just combine with your top-end pitching. We'll see where the ownership is tomorrow, but I still think this is the right spot to go.
I will say, there's obviously, you mentioned d'Arnaud. Adam Eaton's super cheap. I know he hasn't, had that, breakout game, but, he's not killing you. He had 2 hits, when we started recording the podcast. I was checking a little bit before we started, and, he had 2 hits. I will say, if the Braves start Christian Pashy, I'm pretty sure they called him up. I could be wrong, but check this. He was called up on Tuesday. Number 1 prospect in the Braves organization, top 15 in all of baseball. raw power and speed. This kid has a cannon too in the outfield. So if they do, if he is in the lineup, like he's certainly somebody that can like give you some upside that might be a little lower owned because people don't know about him. Very fast kid. So from what I was reading about him earlier.
Sounds good. Looks like he's in the player pool here, so should be good.
Yeah, like 3,400. I don't have FanDuel pulled up, but I'm sure he's probably like 2K on FanDuel because it's FanDuel. But like this game's in the 8th inning. It's already 12 runs. Like on Tuesday, like just it's going to be a high scoring game. It's just, good. I was trying to delay to see if he was in the player pool on FanDuel. I couldn't pull it up fast enough here.
I don't see him. I don't see him.
So you get your exposure to him over there on DraftKings. So
yeah, absolutely. But we've got everybody else. Oh, speaking of which, Luis Garcia has been hitting too for Washington. He's another cheap guy that you can sprinkle in there. Luis Garcia, not gonna hit for too much power, but I mean the guy's just an on base machine right now.
So Nick Markakis is the reason that they called Pesci up. Like he got placed on the COVID list. So watch that.
Yes.
All right, Mets, Marlins, Jacob Degrom, Pablo Lopez. Let's talk Jacob Degrom. Coming home to Florida. Always seems like he gets up for these games. But like. Will, tell me why I shouldn't play DeGrom. Like, because everything tells me to play DeGrom. He's lingering around 100 pitches. He just pitched against this team and didn't pitch amazing. Like, is that why? Maybe, but you're going to have to really sell me on not playing him here.
Yeah, nothing I can say. I mean, in my opinion, top arm on the slate just because of the situation. Pitching in Miami, really good pitcher's park, pitching against a team that – while they don't have as many strikeouts as they used to, they're still there. I like him a lot in this spot. I mean, he had 7 hits, 2 walks, 2 earned runs. Doesn't matter. That's probably an outlier performance. Unless he's hurt and they're not telling us, no reason to fade DeGrom here.
I don't think that he would have thrown 98 pitches coming off of that neck soreness, like had he been hurting still. So I'm loading him up. There's so many cheap bats that, like, just from even just the game that we just talked about, there's so many cheap bats. So, hey, listen, I've been playing Pablo Lopez. He's been very serviceable. He's been very good. Like, he's been, in this game at home. The Mets offense has been hitting. Like, that obviously worries me a little bit. But, like, Pablo Lopez is very good against righties. So, like, he's always very lined-up dependent for me.
Yeah, and I mean, look, the bottom line, you're going to get some lefties. You're probably going to get at least 4, right, with the Mets. I'm thinking Conforto, Nemo, McNeil, Cano. Oh, and Smith is hitting a lot now, too. So he's going to get 5 lefties for sure, like guaranteed. Those guys, I don't see how they pull them out of the lineup, especially when most of these guys have actually started, like you said, they've started to hit pretty well. Outside of McNeil, he hasn't been, hitting as well as we'd like. But the K rate is still around 16%, so, not going to have a whole lot of strikeouts. But, you look at the numbers for Lopez, 28.4% on the season as of today, 2.83 xFIP, ground ball rate at 61.4%. I think, I really think you can play these 2 guys together, take a chance on them. He's a pretty affordable SP2. I'm not saying he's the best SP2, but I think he's serviceable, in this range. So, not my favorite guy, but not the worst either, considering being at home and what we have in terms of the matchup.
Yeah, ballpark is fantastic, assuming that the roof is closed and stuff. But, like, you look at his numbers this season, and, like, he's taken his game to the next level for sure, generating a ton of ground balls. The xFIP is right on line with the ERA. So he's pitching really, really good. You look into, like, the xWOBA stuff, and, like, you're a little concerned about, like, his changeup numbers when you look into the xWOBA, but that's kind of it, really. I think both these pitchers are in play. I'm with you. DeGrom top option. Lopez is a very solid SP2, and honestly, I don't have a ton of interest in these bats overall. Probably going to fade the bats in this game.
Yep, same here.
Moving on, we got the Reds and the Royals. assuming that they play. Sounds like they are going to play. This will be the second game of the doubleheader, right? So, like, I'm pretty sure that these are going to be like 7-inning games, and it's not even on the schedule. So we're moving on, which stinks. Will, how bad do we
Oh
have to
boy.
run to not get Matt Harvey?
I mean, really bad. And I target Matt Harvey
Oh,
every day. If he's on the slate, I just stack against him. It's
give
just
us a showdown slate. Moustakas is going to hit 2 home runs off Matt Harvey.
yeah. Oh
All
my
right, sorry about
goodness.
that. Moving on. Tigers, White Sox, Casey Miz against Dane Dunning. Will, have you heard about either one of these guys before you looked at the slate?
No, not at all. And I will say this. I don't really care. I think, on this slate, I don't need either one of these guys. So I'm not even really going to waste my time to try to plug them in. I know, they're not going to be crazy expensive. Obviously, Dane Dunning, I mean, we got him at the bottom of the totem pole here. So, I mean, I definitely get, if you think he's going to – let me say this. If you think he gets through 4 innings clean, 4 strikeouts, I mean, I'm all for it at these prices, but I don't feel like they're necessary, if that makes any sense.
All right, so here's the thing. Casey Miz, number 1 overall draft pick 2 years ago. Very talented, top prospect in this organization. Not a lot of experience. Like I said, drafted in 2018, played high A ball in 2018, started high A ball in 2019, has not pitched above Double A. So, like, jumped from Double A to Major League Baseball here. His numbers in Double A really solid. Looking into him, very good cutter. So, like, all right, anytime we talk about this all the time. Anytime we're like, all right, a cutter is a fantastic pitch. When you have a really good cutter, I want to see what the team does against it. So, like, I fired up, played IQ really quick, and this team struggles big time with cutters. I don't think he's the craziest tournament play at 6,900. I want to throw this caution. We have no idea how many pitches he's going to go. He was at the alternative site, so we really have no idea how late they will let him go. But listen, anytime a guy has a 70-70 grade on a cutter on FanGraphs, you have to respect it. So I'm respecting it enough to look around tomorrow and see if we can get like any type of news on like how many pitches he's going to go. On the other side of this game, you got Dane Dunning. Again, this guy spent 2016 and 2017 in high A ball. 2018, he started high A ball. He moved up to Double A. Like, he has not pitched an inning above Double A. So 2 young guys battling it out here, and I don't have Vegas pulled up in front of me, but I bet you we're going to see a high total in this game. Let's talk bats, I guess. Like, we really don't know what to expect from either one of these guys. We know the bullpens aren't fantastic. What do you like? Do you have thoughts on Detroit? Like, this offense is just so blah.
Well, typically I kind of have a rule. So if I'm going to multi-enter tomorrow for MLB and not, do more single entry, then I think this is a game I would stack. And listen, it's a personal rule of mine. I don't care how good a prospect is. I always stack against him on his first start. And I just – it's just kind of a rule of mine. I've done it, Blake Snell, Tukey, you name it. It's just what I do. And I'm not saying it works out every time, but, I'm always going to say, hey, maybe they have some first game jitters. The problem is, like you said, these teams are going to struggle, with the cutter, and, maybe he comes out and buries them. But I'm going to side with the professional hitters to start. And I'm not saying he gets touched up like crazy, but you already talked about the bad bullpens. I'm expecting these guys to go 4 to 5 innings at max, and then we get some bullpen action.
Yeah, like, looking overall, like, price-wise, Grandal's banged up. He's the most expensive guy. But, like, Detroit, nobody's over 4K. So, like, Jonathan Scope, like, he obviously at 4K. He's a little interesting. Cameron Maybin, he's back at the big league club. He's 3,600. So, like, Candelario's 3,400. So, like, I don't mind maybe looking at, like, one or two of these guys. I have a little bit more interest on the White Sox side. They're just a better overall offense. Like, I kind of wish, like, this Miz guy was starting against Detroit. Like, I think I'd play him a ton because this offense is so underwhelming. But, like, the White Sox are a little bit more expensive. Tim Anderson, he's super hot right now. Home runs in 3 home runs in the last 2 games. Moncada, Robert has just been fantastic. Yeah. Eloy, like, there's plenty of bats here on the other side. Like, if you don't believe in a kid that, like, hasn't pitched above Double-A.
Yeah, for sure. And that's just the approach I'm going to take. It. If I multi-enter, and I'm just being honest, that's the reason I would stack this game. 2 young pitchers coming in. I just take my chances that maybe they get touched up a little bit on their first start.
Yeah, like I said, though, the only downside I see is, like, how much is he going to throw this cutter? That worries me. So, sure, the regular season is fun and all, but only one thing can compare to the excitement of playoffs, and that is DraftKings, the leader in one-day fantasy sports. Both basketball and hockey have entered their respective playoffs, and DraftKings is putting you in the center of the action. With millions in prizes throughout the week, there is no better place to make it rain. Start playing for free with your first deposit today. If you haven't tried it yet, daily fantasy sports are easy to play. Just draft your players, stay under the salary cap, and pile up points based off your player's performance. There's no better way to put your sports knowledge to the test than to compete for millions of dollars in prizes throughout the week. But if daily fantasy isn't for you, DraftKings just launched Best Ball contest for football season. If you aren't familiar with Best Ball, simply head to the app now and check it out. Download the DraftKings app and use promo code GRIND to play free with your first deposit today. Compete for millions of dollars in prizes up for grabs this week. That's promo code GRIND to get a shot at millions of dollars in prizes all week long, only on DraftKings. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details. Moving on. Will, we got the Brewers and the Twins. The Brewers are being no-hit in the 7th inning right now by Kenta Maeda. Brett Anderson against Tyler Clippard. So Clippard's going to open for Minnesota, and then it's going to be – it sounds like it's going to be Rich Hill. But, like, if Rich Hill comes back and he gets activated, like, they might just start him. So we'll see how this plays out. Let's talk pitching here. Do you have any interest in Brett Anderson?
Negative.
Yeah, Minnesota is one of my favorite teams on the slate. And then on the other side, like, I don't know how much we can really trust Rich Hill, injury-prone Rich Hill coming off of injury. I know he threw 60-pitch bullpen last time, but, like, it's a catch-22, Will. The matchup is fantastic. This Brewers team has been struggling big time, but I don't know if the risk-reward, like, if this was week 1 or 2 of the season and we were kind of debating on a bunch of guys not going deep, I feel like, okay, Will, we're a month into the season now. Like, these guys are going deeper. I don't know if I can go, like, 60, 70 pitch Rich Hill here.
Yeah, man, I can't do it. And, I mean, I didn't even want to go Rich Hill week 1. So – I can't do it with Rich Hill, man. I'm always afraid that despite, how good of a pitcher I still feel like he is, it's just the injuries have really caught up to him the past few years, and it's just going to be a fade. I mean, other guys that I can play that I feel a lot more comfortable with, even in this superb matchup against Milwaukee.
I mean, the match was fantastic. I will say that, like, can't do it, but the match was fantastic. I'm not playing any Brewers bats. Like, I guess you could technically, like, take a shot on, like, Ryan Braun as a one-off. He mashes lefties, but even, like, Ryan Braun, he hits the ball on the ground a lot, and Rich Hill does get more ground balls than fly balls. So, like, I'm probably just staying away from the Brewers bats here.
Same here.
Unwritten rule. I talked about a no-hitter. Now, I do hate talking about no-hitters. I'm superstitious. I was always very superstitious when I pitched. Let's talk Minnesota. Will, this seems like a fantastic spot. I know Anderson is a ground ball guy, but Garver, Cruz, Kepler, Buxton, Polanco, all these guys are fly ball hitters. Like, this seems on paper like one of those matchups that you really, really want, like a ground ball, fly ball guy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't even mind playing a little bit of Marlon Gonzalez. Uh, this is a fantastic spot, man. I'm looking at these numbers, and Brett Anderson is primarily going to be throwing the sinker. Primarily, he's going to mix up changeup, slider, fastball. But to these righties, he's primarily sinker, and most of these guys have pretty good contact numbers. But I mean, Mitch Garver, man. I'm just calling it right now. Mitch Garver might have a double down game if he can get 2 at-bats against Brett Anderson. This number against this sinker is ridiculous. 94.92% contact. More importantly, 5% whiff rate, 35% ground ball rate, average distance of 341.63, 51% hard contact, 548 ISO. I don't know what else I have to do to sell you on Mitch Garver against Brett Anderson. One of my top plays on the slate, hands down.
Yeah, he's ice cold to start the season. Only 1 home run. His OPS is down under 500 right now. I feel like that's the only caution that I'm going to throw to the wind. And there is some opportunity cost at catcher today, just because we do have some cheaper options, and some of these high dollar options like Garver are in really good spots. So it also depends on if Grandal plays. As far as opportunity costs up these expensive guys. But yeah, Nelson Cruz against the lefty, Sano against the lefty. These guys are fantastic plays. Nobody plays Miguel Sano each and every day, and Anderson's not going to strike you out. He has a 13% K rate. So a guy like Sano who has a 38% K rate, I actually like this matchup for Sano. So Astros, Rockies, Framber Valdez against Ryan Castellini. This game's in Coors. Will, any interest in either one of these pitchers?
Well, when I started today, I was really trying to decide whether or not I was going to consider Framber Valdez as an SP2. I feel like I can play him, man. I really feel like we can play him on this slate, and I know – it doesn't seem like the right call because he's in Coors, but I feel like the price is fair enough. The guy's got strikeout upside here. I like what I've seen, from him over the course of the season. I think, and this is obviously it's going to be a crazy tournament play, but the numbers suggest he may be okay, and I'm fine with that. I mean, I think he's okay as an SP2, especially with the price.
My only issue with him is he is a sinker curveball guy, and that is not – they're just not going to move as much in altitude.
I know.
That's my only issue. I do.
Yeah.
I play him a bunch. That's my only issue with him in this spot. Because, you look at the lineup, Story Arenado, they obviously worry you a little bit. Matt Kemp is towards the end of his career. They're still going to have 4 lefties in there. I think you got to look at the lineup when it comes out. If Tapia and McCannon, Murray, Blackman, all these guys are in there, maybe you do give the advantage to Valdez a little bit. Listen, Castellini looked really good against Texas last time out. He just gives up so much hard contact. Could be someone that we use outside of Coors, big time prospect, but I can't use him against Houston in Coors. Let's talk bats. What's your thoughts here on the Houston bats?
Yeah, I think one of the best spots on the slate, man. Obviously they're in Coors. You guys know I hate playing Coors because the prices are typically inflated, and we kind of get all wonky. So I'm probably not going to have any Coors as usual, especially when we've got that Braves-Washington game so juicy on the front side. But realistically, man, Houston should have a really good outing here in Coors. Really, really low strikeout team for the most part outside of Tucker and Maldonado and a little bit of Toro. I like them. Just personally, I pretty much fade Coors most of the time, so I won't have much exposure.
Yeah, in cash games, I think you're looking at Toro. He's super cheap. I think you're looking at Tucker at 4,500. But outside of that, Reddick's 48, Maldonado's 51, Gurriel's 58, Correa's 59, Altuve's 61, Bregman's 62.
Can't do it.
We don't have we've talked about a lot of pitchers on the slate, but we don't have like a 5K guy to like plug in there and play. Like if you're stacking Houston, like you're taking a shot on Dane Dunning, the guy that we talked about a
Yes.
little while ago. Like, but that's what everyone's gonna do. So it's really tough to get like a Rock or a Houston stack on DraftKings. It's easier on FanDuel. It's always easier on FanDuel. Like these guys, Bregman's 43, Altuve's 39, Correa's 36, Gurriel's 36. So like in cash games on FanDuel, you're playing Houston. Like it's way easier to do it over there. As far as the Rockies go, Arenado's story. If Hampson bats leadoff, Kemp's really cheap, but Arenado's story. They mash left-handed pitching. It's a thing.
Yes. I mean, I'm with you 100%. Like I said, though, I'm not going to have much exposure to this game, if any. In fact, I'm not going to probably play a single bat from this game at all due to the ownership.
Rangers and Padres, Lance Lynn, Chris Paddock, two really good arms facing off here. Let's talk Lance Lynn first. You know, you mentioned already, like the hot Padres. Listen, Lance Lynn's very good against righties. He has been for years now. And when you look at this lineup, like, who beats you? Tatis, Machado. Gresham beats you. He's a lefty. Cronenworth's been hitting the ball really well. He's a lefty. But, like, the hottest hitter in this team is Fernando Tatis Jr., and Lance Lynn should be able to neutralize him a little bit here. Will, am I crazy? Like, is this a game we should be looking at both these pitchers?
Yeah, listen, actually, Lance Lynn is probably my favorite pitcher on the slate, and not due to the arm talent. And I do think he has the arm talent. This is actually strictly a price thing. So, when I'm looking at the price gap here, between Lance Lynn and Jacob Degrom, I mean, $3-4 grand. Like I like the price savings. So I think that's where I'm at with Lance Lynn here. I think it's just a price play. I think it allows you to get a little bit more creative. And look, if I can get in Degrom and Lynn, that's probably the route I'm going to take, especially these value bets that we talked about earlier. That's the combination I'm looking to get in my lineups on DK. Degrom, Lance Lynn, one of my favorite plays on the day.
Kenta Maeda's through 113 pitches with the no still intact. It'd be really interesting to see if they let him go back out there.
I don't know if they do it. I mean, look, he's not over there with Dave Roberts, so maybe they let him go out and try to get like 3 ground balls. But
113 might be a career high. I don't know. I'll have to look into that. Like, that's a lot of pitches for him.
It's definitely a career high. He came from the Dodgers. You didn't have to look this up.
All right. So really quick, Paddock on the other side of this game, the Rangers stink. Yeah. I've been saying this for weeks. They have 9 home runs. They have the least amount of home runs against right-handed pitching. Like the St. Louis Cardinals have so many. Sorry, I forgot to pull up my page here, but I know that they have the least amount of home runs this season. Still, like they have 9. The Cardinals have 10. So it's crazy, Will. It's crazy.
Yeah, I like Paddock as well. I mean, like I said, I do like Lynn a little bit more. I feel like he has a little bit more strikeout upside, generally speaking. But, once again, you go down, you get even more price savings if you play Chris Paddock. So I like both of these arms. If you decide maybe on DK that you maybe want to play some slightly more expensive bats, then maybe you do a Lance Lynn, Chris Paddock combination and hope that Cole and Degrom just don't burn you before the game even starts. But I really like both of these pitchers, man. I think these are fine spots for them in San Diego, which should help both of them even more. So I'm all aboard with these guys. Like,
I really might play Paddock on my main team. Like, you look up and down this lineup, there's so many strikeouts here. Even if you go to just this season, like, Solak is at 14%, Frazier's at 18%. There's regression coming for Frazier, but Andrus at 14%. Like, but Odor 28.6, Dietrich 26.7, Mathis 28, Gallo 26.5, Santana 35, Chu 29. Like, there's a lot of upside here for a kid that has gotten a little unlucky to start the season. I love Paddock here. I think this is a big bounce back spot for him. But I will say, like, I've been terrible at pitchers the last 2 days. I've been nailing my bats, but man, I have been getting crushed trying to guess these, figure out these pitchers this week. So I don't have any interest in bats in this game. I really don't. Like, again, this is another game that I'm just going to write off. I feel like if you want to play Tatis, he's the hottest hitter in baseball. He's under 5K. You can pair him with Gresham, who's 3,100, and it frees up a ton of salary.
Yeah, I get it, man. I'm personally not going to play any bats from this game. I respect these two pitchers a whole lot, especially in this ballpark. So it's going to be a pass for me on the bats, and I don't think they'll beat me up too bad.
Diamondbacks at Athletics, Merrill Kelly against Jesus Lizardo. Merrill Kelly, any interest in him?
I don't mind Meryl Kelly, actually. He's pitched pretty well this season overall. I mean, you look at the price. Price is not bad. I'm all aboard. I mean, look, is he more expensive than I think I would want to pay on a normal slate? Obviously, this is a normal slate, but I think he's a little bit more expensive than I would want to pay. But I actually think I may play him over Savale here. So I like him. He will probably make my player pool if I go the multi-entry route. Obviously, I don't like him more than Lance Lynn, which I don't feel like he should be more than Lance Lynn, but I still like him in the spot in Oakland. I like him a lot.
Yeah. Just got done talking about how bad Texas has been. He dominated Texas to start the season. Pitched really well against Padres last 2 times he faced them. Here's my only issue, right? Like, shout out to Kirk Dees. He got me on this thing. So I'm going to give him a shout out every time. I know I say it every time, but I'm going to give him a shout out because credit where credit's due. But, like, if you don't throw hard against Oakland, you're in trouble. They hit pitchers that don't throw hard. So, like, I actually kind of like the Oakland side of this game more than I like Kelly. And I like the fact that Kelly's 9,500, which makes my decision a little bit easier.
Shouldn't be more than Lance Lynn. Bad algorithm, but hey.
No, just like he shouldn't be more than like Paddock either. Like,
no way.
he's more expensive than Paddock on FanDuel too. So I don't know. I feel like if you are playing him, maybe you're playing him on FanDuel, but like, what's the win equity? Is it high enough? I don't know if it's high enough on FanDuel. So, because like Jesus Lizardo is a kid that has shown some really good stuff, this season and struggled a little bit with walks so far. But like, if you just look at 2020 numbers for Arizona against lefties, you're not going to like what you see.
Yeah, and I have them pulled up. No low strikeouts, but man, nobody's putting the ball in play. I mean, low ISO, barely, very low WOBA, and the ground ball rates on these guys just god awful. So, I mean, no one's striking out, but they're not going to set the world on fire. I don't hate Lizardo here. If you want to just kind of take him as a flyer, I still don't think Lizardo should be more than Pablo Lopez. Like, I feel like there are a lot of pricey mistakes. Like, I'd for sure play Lopez over Lizardo, but I understand the spot, but I'm not playing him over. God, just set him Pablo Lopez. I think that's a pricey mistake.
Yeah, like I think he is very much in play. I don't think the matchup is terrible, but I do worry about like overall just, pitch count. Like, how much are they going to let him go? They really haven't, let him go over 90 pitches. He's 8,200. It goes back to the conversation where we have a ton of pitchers on the slate. I might not stack against him. Probably won't stack against him. Good chance I don't stack against him. Looking at bats on this team, like Walker is probably the best option, but like, how many stacks have we talked about today where you're not playing a first baseman? Hardly any. So it's really hard to even like consider playing Walker, but he is 3,300. So like the price is fantastic.
Yeah, but still, I'm with you, man. I don't think I'm going to have any Arizona Diamondback bats today. Just don't
Tell you
think
what
I
I'm doing right now. I think Washington, Atlanta. Again, I'm telling you guys, that's the game for me. I do like the Oakland bats. I feel like if you're not playing Kelly, if you do believe in this thing that like if you're not a hard throwing pitcher against this team, they're going to hit you. Like I do think that like Oakland is in play here, but like you do need to like respect the numbers for Kelly this season. 3.27 xFIP, bunch of ground balls, pitching really, really well. He just doesn't miss. Like his swinging strike rate's low. So like maybe some regression coming in that stuff. I like Oakland. I think they're very much in play as a stack here.
I get it. You just know I'm not going to have any.
Nah, I get it. Dodgers and Mariners. We got Julio Urias against Tajon Walker. Julio Urias, any interest in him?
I don't think I can do it against the Angels. And I mean, listen, I feel like he's turning a corner. Not the Angels. Against Seattle. I feel like he's turning a corner. I still don't know if I can pull the trigger on him. When I'm looking at this season numbers, it says his xFIP is 5.56, K rate 15.3. I combine that with 2020. Obviously, that changes a whole lot. I think there are better options for his price. I do think he's going to have an okay game, but I don't think I can play him. Like I don't think he should be more than Lance Lynn. Like he's the third highest priced guy on the slate, pretty much because of the matchup. I don't think I can do it.
Oh man, I can't do 10-1. Like, give me like if you're playing him, like you're playing him on FanDuel. He's 7,900 on FanDuel. Like,
yeah.
If you're playing a bunch of teams over there, that's where you take a shot. I'm not paying 10-1 for Julio Urias on a pitch count with Dave Roberts as the manager. Pass. The other side of this game, Walker has not shown us anything yet. Nothing. Like a little bit better against righties. In the few starts that we've seen so far from him this season, pitched pretty well against Texas. It's another pitcher that's pitched well against Texas. It's not rocket science at this time. I don't like right-handed pitchers against the Dodgers anyway. I'm probably going to pass on him here.
Yep, he's getting the NO button from me.
Let's talk bats. At what point do we stop paying for Cody Bellinger? Because he does have 4 home runs on the season, and like we got to give him a little credit for that. But it seems like if he doesn't hit a home run, he's just not doing anything. He's really, really struggling. The Dodgers really disappointed on Tuesday. But
I had some Dodgers bats too, so that's another reason that I got held back in my tournament earnings here. They just really wet the bed for me.
Yeah, it was a weird game. Like Justin Turner hit some balls really, really hard. But yeah, Marco Gonzalez, 9 strikeouts, just pitched really well. The Dodgers, I feel like they're probably like a top 3 stack on the slate against Walker.
Yeah, I feel the same way, but I also feel like in terms of ownership, they might be they're the
late game.
Yeah, they're probably going to be the 6th or 7th highest owned team. You got to think Washington's getting more. Atlanta, Minnesota, the Coors game. They're essentially not going to have any ownership tomorrow against Taijuan Walker, who's pitching terribly. Once again, I will be firing up the Los Angeles Dodgers without fail.
Here we go again. I'm right there with you, buddy. Seager's been crushing the ball. Betts has been crushing the ball. Justin Turner's been hitting the ball really hard. Like Justin Turner on the season, 71 plate appearances, has a 61.5% hard hit rate. He's hitting the ball very hard. So he's a great guy. That is, definitely going to be low owned on this slate. So.
I mean, these top 3 guys, though, Stevie. I mean, Mookie's at 59, Seager's at 58. I mean, man, these top 3 guys could win you a slate if they could pull off, what the White Sox pulled off and just hit 4 homers back to back. That'd just be great.
No problem. Just go out and hit 4 home runs to start the game. No big deal. Angels and Giants to finish us off here. We got Patrick Sandoval against Kevin Gausman. Any interest here in Sandoval?
Slight interest. I don't like the K rate, right? It's very uninspiring. What I do like is the xFIP at 3.38 And his ground ball rate right now, Steve, is at 73%. And you've got a team that's just not hitting fly balls. I like him here. And the price feels fair, right? I mean, you look, he's in the bottom half of the pricing here. That could help you free up a little bit. I don't hate this at all, Steve. I think Pablo Sandoval is definitely in play on this slate against San Francisco.
My only concern with him is what you started with, is the strikeout stuff. He can go out and pitch 6 good innings here, bullpen and blow the wind for him. So, that's obviously concerning. I think he's in play, but I feel like in tournaments, you want to probably attack someone with a little bit more ceiling. I would play Pablo Lopez, I think, before Sandoval. I think I'd even
absolutely
take a shot on Casey Miz before I would play Sandoval, just because this guy's not going to go out there and light the world on fire with strikeouts. And this team's going to get really right-handed. They have Flores, they have Pence. I know Darren Ruff hasn't hit the ball. He was crushing the ball in the KBO last season. They have Slater. They can go kind of right-handed heavy against him. I know he's been, pitching really well against righties, but he gives up so much hard contact to righties as well. I'm concerned about the overall upside. But hey, listen, I'm not going to talk you off of it more than I just did. So.
Yeah, no, I get it, man. It's just the ground ball rate. Like I said, I mean, it's just so high. I think. Look, I don't think he has more upside than Pablo Lopez. If you guys haven't heard, Pablo Lopez is probably my favorite cheapest pitcher on the slate. Period. But when I see a guy with a 73% ground ball rate, it feels like Dallas Keuchel all over to me again. I think if he can miss a few bats, he's one of these guys that could squeeze you across the line at the end of the night with low ownership.
So it looks like it's going to be Johnny Cueto, not Kevin Gausman, pitching in this one. Even at 5,600, I don't really have a ton of interest in Johnny Cueto.
Yep, won't be playing Cueto against the Angels. Even though he did have a respectable last outing. And I'm not even looking at the numbers. I just remember, I think, did he go about 7 innings the last game? I don't have it pulled up.
He pitched really well against, I forget who he was pitching against too.
Probably Texas. I'm just kidding.
I think it was Oakland, but
yeah, but I'm not playing Johnny Cueto, even though he went 70s. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be Cueto. So, yeah, it was against Oakland. So 7 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. That's a very respectable day. Yeah. But this Angels offense is really good. Let's talk Angels bats. Well, I don't know if you ever heard of a guy, Mike Trout. I hear he's pretty good, though.
Yeah. And even though the K rate is at 23.7% on the season, it's coming down massively. He was up a lot further than that. And how about Anthony Rendon? I like the fact that Trout has run protection now. It's just you can't just walk the guy and hope that everybody else is going to just, ground down. He's got some serious bats behind him. I've been talking about Albert Pujols, a couple times on the pod. Look, he's not going to light the world on fire, but this guy can drive in some runs. Really like him. I think this team is, the top. I mean, really 1 through 7, I think is just very respectable here. I don't mind stacking this team for a little bit of a late night hammer at all.
Yeah. Man, I kind of, Ohtani's price is fantastic. He's 4,100 on DraftKings. La Stella 3,800. You can really, even with Trout and Rendon being so expensive, you can really get a nice little 4 or 5 man stack here because the rest of these guys are pretty cheap. So I like that call. Listen, I don't want to take a page out of Blender's book, but I think your Giants or your vomit stack today. If you're going top end double barrel stack, pitching, Flores is 3,700, Longoria is 3,600. You keep going down. If Trump catches, he's 32. Pence is 31. Ruff is 28. So I feel like this is your good old fashioned blender head vomit stack of the day. They're really, really cheap on this slate.
Yeah, I get it, man. I just think anyway, we'll get to that in a second. I'll be more inclined to stack the bottom of this Braves lineup tomorrow than I do the Giants. I can tell you that right now.
I'm just saying, like, if you really wanted to make a Degrom, Cole, Degrom, Seville, Degrom, Lynn team, like,
yeah, that's
you get
that's
3,600 a player, like, they're in play.
I get it.
Let's play the morning grind game, and then we're gonna get out of here and go watch, see if Kenta Maeda can finish this out. They just ended the 8th inning, so we're gonna be right on time to finish and see if he goes out there or not. Will, give me a guy under 8K to get 6 or more strikeouts on this slate.
Man, listen, I don't think it's any secret. I've been talking about him all podcast. Give me Pablo Lopez. I think he's got the best chance to go out and do it.
I'm gonna counter you and say Chris Paddock gets there.
I like it.
Let's do it. Finally, some legit options under 8K to get there. Give me a guy over 8K to score under 15. Who's your bust today?
I think I'm going with Julio Urias. And I know it's against Seattle, but man, that price is up there for a limited pitch count. Speaking of which, we got to revisit this, man. I think you almost owed me some jelly beans.
Almost.
Oh, one strikeout away.
Almost. Did not get there. Almost. Almost does not count.
It does not. It
does not count. Listen, I'm gonna go with Valdez. I know it's chalky, but
I like it. No, I get it. I like it.
Like, I just worry about, like, a 2-pitch pitcher in Coors scares me. He gave up the no-no on the first batter.
They're going to pull him. They're going to have to.
Yeah, well, he's at 115 pitches, so.
Yeah.
Eric Sogard, of all people. Over 4K to hit a home run, not in Coors. Give me an expensive bat to go yard.
Oh, man, my favorite bat on the slate, one of my favorite bats on the slate. I hate to go from a game we've been talking about all night, but I just have to do it. Juan Soto, ladies and gentlemen, up there. You're going to have to pay to get him. I plan on doing it.
And you pair him with Freddie Freeman. They're both going to go yard today. Listen, I had 2 guys. I had Freeman and Soto. It was going to be one of those 2 guys. You took Soto. I'm going to take Freeman. Give me a guy under 4K to get 2 hits.
Oh, God. I hate to go back. Stevie, we're just going to have to stay on this game. I'm going Adam Eaton here. Had a really nice night tonight, and Eaton's really cheap. I mean, got to go Adam Eaton.
Listen, I'm going to take the rookie. Give me Christian Pashy.
I like it.
I think it'd be his first ever start if he ends up starting. But with Markakis out now too, let him play. Don't call him up. Don't call up one of your top prospects and not let him play. Let him play. Give me a stack to score 6 or more runs.
These are probably going to be your guys. Well, no, you're going to take a different team. I'm going with the Dodgers. I'm going back to the well. I think they get there.
I like that one. Yeah, I like that one a lot. I'm going to go. I don't want to go Washington, Atlanta. I've said them a million times. Give me Oakland to score 6 or more.
Yeah.
Will, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Man, I'm going to give you a bonus bat. My favorite bat on the slate. Talked about him a lot. Talked about what I saw. Mitch Garver, ladies and gentlemen, been hitting really, hasn't been seeing the ball well. I think this could be a double dog game for Mitch Garver. Really like him. Bonus bat of the day.
Right. I like it. We're going to get out of here. We'll be back tomorrow, both of us. Will's double dipping in the Morning Grind Baseball podcast this week. I know he's been crushing it with basketball over there. Hopefully you guys were listening to that. Yeah, go Magic. They got one. Listen, I'm a faithful Magic fan, win or lose. I'm glad to see them just get a game. So we'll see what happens. But it's going to wrap it up here for Tuesday or Wednesday. Sorry. We'll be back tomorrow on Thursday. Good luck in your contest, and we'll see you then.